listening to Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott, and across from me, he's the wee golden man that I like to hold in my hands. It's Mr. Alan Johnson.
How you do, pod people?
This is another one of our bonusy, in-betweeny, non-franchise episodes, where instead of talking about a franchise, we talk about sequel news, we talk about trailers, and whatever the fuck we want. We start traditionally with the news segment, where Mr. Alan Johnson, the man sitting across from me right now, tells me about news about films and that, and you will get usually my unvarnished, in-the-moment reaction. I make a solemn promise to you guys that I will never research anything for this show. So Alan,
Yes.
give me the news that's fit to print.
The glittering jewel in the crown of the film world has just happened.
Scottish BAFTAs!
We've just had the Academy Awards. So the Oscars, for the first time since like 1987, have gone with no host.
Because everybody that they picked had said something mental. That's why John Wayne isn't hosting it.
Are the Oscars something you pay much attention to generally?
As you will find out when you tell me about the Oscars, no. I don't really care about the Oscars. But again, it's that thing where you want your favourites to win and stuff like that, or the favourite to win. I only hit the video on that lassie's acceptance speech, Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman, yeah.
To watch that on YouTube, only because I knew everybody was talking about it, and it was good. It was, it was a funny, charming speech, and she's always good in everything. She's great in The Favourite. She's
absolutely brilliant.
But she's a great actress.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. She deserves it. It's just cool to see somebody who's done so much comedy and stuff like that, as well as being a serious actress, get the Oscar. It's brilliant. But at the end of the day, people are like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, and I'm like, well, you should maybe, I don't know, penicillin. Penicillin is better than Olivia Colman winning the Oscar. Olivia Colman winning the Oscar is cool and good for her, and she fucking deserves it. She's great. In the film world, maybe this is as good as penicillin. But let's just fucking roll it back, guys. I thought it was cool that she won, but I only saw that because so many people were posting her acceptance speech.
What was nice about that was that it was honest, it was from the heart, it was quirky, and it was funny.
They're actors, Alan. No, she could, she's been practicing that. No, I don't know. Do you know what, in that speech, one thing I will say, great use of the fart noise.
Exactly.
She makes a fart noise with her mouth, and I was like, perfectly done. It was the right amount of fart noise. She's probably classically trained, so they know she's of the theatre. She understands how this shit works. No, so basically, I don't care about the Oscars. I could give two shits about the Oscars, but we're going to talk about it anyway because, frankly, we need content to fill this episode. So the only thing I really know, I think, is that she won. So fucking educate me.
Well, Queen, or Queen and Adam Lambert, opened the ceremony, which meant that Anita Dobson of EastEnders was at the Oscars.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. If you're not from the UK, Anita Dobson is the second greatest actress after Olivia Colman in the UK. That's Dame Judi Dench is third. Anita Dobson is in the middle of those two. So if you come over here, just scream her name in pubs and people will be like, oh my god, you totally get British culture. You're fine. If you didn't grow up in fucking Britain in the 1980s, the Anita Dobson reference is lost on you. It's made two old men very happy.
So in connection with Queen being at the Academy Awards, Rami Malek won Best Actor for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. He praised...
Did the director show up? Is he busy? What's happening?
I don't know where Dexter Fletcher was. So Rami Malek praised an inspirational Freddie Mercury, but did not mention the film's director during the speech, or AIDS, or the AIDS crisis.
Well, I don't know. Rami Malek, I don't know. Would it have been out of place maybe for him to be like, oh, thanks for the award. Also, guys, let's talk about HIV. I don't know if that would that have been out of place? Personally, the memory that comes to mind for me is Tom Hanks when he got the Oscar for Philadelphia.
Yes,
he sort of made it a kind of personal thing and was talking about a teacher of his that got HIV. But obviously Philadelphia was, that was the whole story, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Is about that. So, but that was a really classy, I thought, way to do it, to bring up a kind of an issue in the national mind without maybe sounding preachy or anything like that. I guess he's getting Twitter heat for this.
Some people were saying it was it was great for queer cinema that the award had been given, but other people are going, he was in a movie about a queer guy where his sexuality wasn't really
was kind of brushed over, I guess.
The rough edges were sort of taken off of it.
I've not seen the film, so I don't know how big a deal it is. Obviously, I know it's a big deal for Freddie Mercury because that's how he died.
Apparently, you become gay by giving gentlemen the side eye at American truck stops.
Right.
I have seen Bohemian Rhapsody. You know what? I would rather just have listened to Queen's greatest hits than watch a really shallow the story. Like there was no controversial issues. There was nothing about them playing Sun City during apartheid.
Yeah.
It didn't really focus on the albums that I love by the band. It jumped straight from them like being in Smile to then recording Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
It's very much Freddie Mercury's story. It's not really about Queen.
Yeah, John Deacon, nobody cares.
But I do. He's the only one with any integrity.
Actually, didn't come back.
Yeah, he was like, Freddie's passed away, then the band is over.
Cool. You're listening to our new Queen podcast. Bohemian Rhapsody, because we're a bunch of bros that love Queen. So, Bohemians before Hominians.
And he never ever mentioned Flash Gordon.
I mean, that's a travesty. But I guess my thing is, I don't know because I've not seen the film, so I'm genuinely just sort of asking, is it just being like a PG film in the way that a heterosexual relationship would be seen in a PG film, in which case that's fine, or are they kind of really shying away from maybe certain things because they feel that maybe gayness is more risque or something, more adult, which of course is bullshit, because the counter argument could be that queerness doesn't have to be like, fucking leather caps and fucking cocks. It can just be, Freddie Mercury had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So there's your, a possible counter argument for a film that, let me be clear, I haven't seen and I have no dog in this fight.
Basically, while he's on the phone to his wife, like he sees one hot guy and he's like, ooh, something has awoken.
All right, okay.
Just for the Bohemians out there, I didn't really like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right, Queen cast. We're starting it. The Bohemian Rhapsody. Hey, hold on. Can I start a side podcast with you right now? But purely about whether another band is represented in the Live Aid part.
Okay.
Bohemian Rhapsody. the Bohemian Rhapsody side project about whether Status Quo are in the Live Aid section of the Queen film. Bohemian Rhapsody, Alan, are Status Quo in the Bohemian Rhapsody film.
They're not featured players.
What? So I want a side podcast from the Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a side podcast for the original Bohemian Rhapsody. So the side podcast is from the Bohemian Rhapsody podcast, and I'm going to call it the Nohemian Rhapsody podcast because I want to know, if you'd known that before, would you have been out and said no Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yes, I need the co.
Thank you. I agree.
That film needed a little je ne sais quoi.
Oh, lovely. You're listening to Nohemian Rhapsody, the podcast about whether would you watch a Queen biopic where at Live Aid they don't see Status Quo. Now, Inception style, we move back to the first spin-off. You've been listening to Bohemian Rhapsody, the podcast about whether Status Quo appear in Bohemian Rhapsody. And now we're back, Inception style again. You're listening to Bohemian Rhapsody, the podcast about Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen biopic that only Alan's seen, I've not seen, and cool, we're back.
We're back
Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and Queen. So Rami Malek, maybe a bit of dodginess there. Good actor. So cool. Who were the other big winners in the Oscars? Let's wrestle us back to the Oscars.
Well, Oscars. So Bohemian Rhapsody was tipped to be the big winner across the night, and so too had Bradley Cooper with his remake of A Star Is Born. But there was a sort of theory that the company behind A Star Is Born just didn't mount a big enough campaign.
It's like presidential elections, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
did he not have a super PAC?
And so Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga played their Oscar-winning song Shallow. Interestingly, they got a standing ovation when they performed, but then also as they were returning to their seats from the stage, they got another standing ovation.
A double standing O.
Yeah.
The story of a double standing O.
Bradley Cooper and Gaga get best song for Shallow.
Did he write it?
Yeah.
Like, he seems to be good looking and talented. Good for him, fucking prick.
No big winners, no big sweeps at the Academy Awards. Spider-Verse got Best Animated Film.
Cool.
Paddington 2 wasn't even in the running for Best Picture. Which
That's some bullshit.
We know is a true winner. Black Panther actually won 3 for costumes, production design and score. Regina King got Best Supporting Actress for Beale Street. Roma got a couple for cinematography, best foreign film, and best director. And the best picture went to Green Book, which has been compared to Crash as the worst best picture film for some time.
Honestly, every time people talk about Crash, I keep thinking about David Cronenberg.
It's not even the best Crash film.
I mean, but generally, like, for a second I was going, David Cronenberg's Crash didn't win the fucking best film Oscar. But no, the other one that I've not seen, because I've seen the trailer for that Crash film, and I'm pretty sure, please correct me if I'm wrong, that it's a bunch of like really cleverly intertwined stories that just keep saying racism's bad. Yeah, I figured that one out myself, guys, years before that film, so fuck off, that looks dull as shit.
Yeah, well, part of the problem with Green Book was writ large when they won the award, because a film about racial tensions in the southern states of America in the 60s had a bunch of old white men up on the stage to pick up the award.
However, right, I have seen that somebody's pointed out that actually in that picture it has cropped out 2 or 3 black,
yes,
black
I
people.
mean, of course, Mahershala Ali is there. Of course, he won Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, cool. He's really... I'm halfway through True Detective Season 3. He's still great, but I don't know what's happening. There was, people of colour on the stage, which is good.
Yeah.
But yes, they did seem to be obviously shunted to the side. Possibly bad. That maybe it seems a bit tone deaf. I am not shocked that Hollywood is not the beacon of liberalism that we may have thought. And when people like, oh, this is a film about how racism is bad, I'm like, sweet. Figured that one out as a child. Nothing in my life since has ever fucking, made me think the other way. Like, boy, it might be quite great. That racism. No, it's never happened. I'm still bad. So I don't know if I need to see that. Oh, I do need to see it as like Jason Statham be an assassin, has to take on one last job and taking out like 3 or 4 guys in a warehouse. Like that. That is something I haven't experienced. So I want to see that. That's why I watch the films I watch. I guess racism's bad. Cool. I mean, good one, Hollywood. It just looked a bit dull. Now, is it one of the Farrelly brothers that did this?
Yes.
That's amazing to me. That's the thing. This is what annoys me. I've not seen Green Book.
Okay.
And I'm sure the mess behind it is great, because racism is bad, even though I don't think I need to be lectured on it by a 2-hour boring film. I have no doubt in my mind that Green Book isn't half the fucking movie Kingpin is. Right? Genuinely. Kingpin's a fucking masterpiece of jokes. That should have got you an Oscar. Dumb and Dumber. There's something about Mary. We'll leave it there. No, actually we won't. Me, Myself and Irene. Funny as fuck films. They should have got Oscars.
Bill Murray in Kingpin.
Yeah, this whole Bill Murray Renaissance bullshit. Oh, look, he's been playing a sad-eyed old man who's got depth. Blah, fucking humbug. I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I give a fuck about? Bill Murray being a sleazy prick in Kingpin. Bring it on. Farrelly, you've let the comedy side down, and now, oh, look at me, I've got an Oscar. You think you're so great? You think you're better than me?
Well, in celebration of another film that was saying that racism was wrong, but in its own unique and, for my money, far more entertaining way, Spike Lee finally won an Oscar for screenwriting.
He's never won an Oscar.
Can you believe it? Yeah. Should have won for Malcolm X.
Like, understand that, like a lot of great films maybe don't get what they do. He might missed out on Best Director 1 year, or missed out on Best Film. But, like, he writes most of his films. He directs them. But, like, at some points, you would have thought something that he was involved would have given him an Oscar with his name on it. Wow.
Yeah, you would have hoped. And he gave a great, much like Olivia Colman, quite an emotional speech. But in amongst it, what was brilliantly endearing, he told a story about his grandmother who had saved up all of her social security money to put him through NYU film school, but he revealed that she used to call him her spiky poo.
Aww.
Which is so endearing and charming.
Spike Lee's adorable.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, Spike Lee, I mean, I'm not saying I've enjoyed every one of his films.
Nope.
He's been up and down, but some absolute all-time bangers in there. So yeah, I didn't know that. That's wild. I'm happy that's happened. Well done, Spike Lee. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. You're a very good fucking filmmaker.
So that was the Oscar roundup.
Oscar's so shite, am I right, guys? Hello. You can contact us in a variety of modes. You can email us at diminishingpod@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can get us at diminishingpod. On Facebook, we are Diminishing Returns Podcast. And you can tag us and stuff on Facebook by putting at Diminishing Returns Pod. On Instagram, at Diminishing Pod. We have a blog, diminishingpod.wordpress.com. On YouTube, you can just search for Diminishing Returns and you'll probably find us. We're also on Spotify, so if you prefer to listen to your podcast on Spotify, we are an independent podcast, guys. So what I would ask of you is that if if each listener here to think of one person that would enjoy this podcast. You must have a friend that likes cool movies and can handle a lot of dirty talk from me, mostly. Just think of one person and send them a link to a specific show or like an episode you loved of the show or you think that they would love. Send them a specific link, or when you're out with them, take their phone or iPad and put the show into their podcast catcher or wherever they get it. For you, the regular listener, you're thinking, what can I do to help? You can rate and review us 5 stars, don't be a cunt, on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. That really helps new people find the show. Thanks, guys. The Oscars celebrates films that have already come out. But we're about to celebrate, or not, films that haven't yet been released. Doing this by the medium of watching clips that have been released by the studios to give us a taste of what those films would be like. You maybe aren't showbiz types like me and Alan. These are commonly known as film trailers. And we're going to talk about them in our favourite segment, and that is, of course, Trailer Talk. Bam, bam, bam. Alan, we haven't talked about this beforehand, so just you tell me what you want to talk about.
Why don't we do the
hustle?
Do the hustle.
So, The Hustle. This is a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
It's a remake of a remake.
Which was a remake of some like French film or some shit.
Bedtime Story. No, a Marlon Brando.
Was it?
David Niven film from 1964.
Wait, hold on. I knew it was a remake of something, but I was assuming it was some like foreign film. And let's be clear, fucking Brexit means Brexit, guys. I'm not going to watch a foreign film, Jesus. But no, hold on. There's a film with David Niven playing a con man.
Yes.
And I haven't seen it. Because that sounds like, you don't even have to put it into a sentence. If you just go, Chris, Niven, con man, I would be like, give me now. Please, 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 please. That will be amazing. Is it amazing?
Produced by D.A. Pennybaker, yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's got class running through its veins.
Right, honestly, but is it good?
Yes,
of course it's good.
Yeah.
You know why? It's fucking David Niven playing a con man. If you're a young person, right? Listen, I know that you're probably sitting there going like, these two old guys jawing about fucking Queen. It's entertaining. You love it, you know you do. Because you also know you respect us as critics, and let's just say, hey, cinephiles, right? David Niven, if you haven't seen A Matter of Life and Death, is one of the greatest films of all time. It's funny, it's got heart, it's weird. Like there's cool weird stuff going on. It's shot brilliantly, and David Niven, god damn it, the reason that people think that British people are suave and charming or cool, there's 2 reasons for that. One's the name David and the second one's Niven. Like, honestly, the guy's the coolest fucking suavest motherfucker out of there. I cannot stress this enough. I'm doing my recommendation now, bringing it in Trailer Talk, because I don't give a fuck, because I don't play by the rules. A Matter of Life and Death, man, it is fucking great. And I now will go and seek out this fucking original film, because I quite like Marlon Brando, bit of a bell end, but you fucking Niven as a con man, and obviously I'm assuming he's playing the fucking posh con man character. That's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be fucking brilliant. I cannot wait to see that. The Hustle, however, the remake of the remake, you know, they're con artists. There's 2 ladies.
2 ladies now. We've gender swapped it. Anne Hathaway taking the Michael Caine / David Niven role, and Rebel Wilson adopting the Steve Martin / Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
So directed by Chris Addison.
Oh.
It's his directorial debut.
He's been funny in stuff.
Yeah, That was interesting to find out, but this looks very generic.
Yeah, it looks like another dumb, shitty Hollywood comedy with no real jokes. But it's only a trailer.
It is only a trailer, and
in fact, if anything, it's kind of stupid to have a whole segment about trailers, but fuck it, you know, we're committed at this point.
Things I noticed. One, Anne Hathaway, when she's introduced, she's reading a book, and the cover looks suspiciously like The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night. Right. I don't know if you know that book.
I've heard the name.
Now,
I'm assuming it's like the musical Cats, but about dogs kicking about at night time. Is that right? Have I got this?
I mean, you're right in the sweet spot. It's exactly
sweet.
And what's interesting about that is the character who plays the Mark in the movie is played by Alex Sharp, and he came to prominence on the Broadway version of the stage show of A Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
Oh, right. I don't think you know what interesting means. That I literally couldn't give 2 shits.
The tiniest detailed fucking book cover I recognise.
I mean, listen, we get it, Al. You read books. You're so intelligent. Oh, what you doing, Al? Oh, I'm reading a book because fucking, I like to work out my brain. Don't be so pretentious. Listen, they're con artists.
Yes.
The only real crime that's going on in this film is fucking Anne Hathaway's accent.
Oh,
that is a poorly judged accent. I was expecting, and I hope there's some sort of reveal that she's putting on that accent for a con. But I don't think so, because it is horrendous.
That is a choice that I think has been made poorly.
Yeah. Also, particularly now we know that there's a real British person directing it, that maybe at some point when she's putting on that terrible British accent, he could have went, hey, that's not how anyone speaks.
Alex Sharp is also British.
Oh, Alex Sharp. You see the guy that's the he was in the star on Broadway of A Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
My real worry is that Rebel Wilson has no range. She's one performance style, and that seems to be what this movie's built on. I'd like to see her try something different.
I mean, the thing is that can work. There was one bit that I did kind of laugh. It's a kind of obvious gag, but keep yourself sort of inconspicuous, and she comes in as a blind person. That was so dumb that it kind of at least made me laugh. But the rest of it seemed super overplayed. Mm-hmm. I'm not into it, but I'm so glad now that we talked about this, because there is a film now I want to see, which is the original Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with David. Bedtime Story. It's called. I like that. Story. I also am gonna see if I can get tickets for A Curious Dog in the Nighttime. I don't know what it's called. Stop. It's fine. Is it still on the Broadway? I don't know. Again. Alan, just stop trying to pretend that you're smart. So yeah, I am out for this film, but I am in for one that was released about 65 years ago or something like that. You?
Yeah, I think I'm out. I was quite interested to see where they were going to take it, because obviously with the gender swap, it might have gone interesting places.
Because there is a kind of nice idea in the trailer where they're like, men always underestimate women, and that's a good way to be a con woman. I was like, that would be interesting.
Yeah, kind of fun idea.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to have done anything with it. So you're out.
I think I'm out, yeah.
And you don't like the rebel yell, which is her performance style. You don't cry more. You cry, that's enough. Cool. Yeah, that's right. We've updated our references from Queen to Billy fucking Idol. So look out, you pop crazed youngsters, as another more successful podcast would put it. So yeah, we're out for the hustle.
We are.
What do you want to talk about next, Al?
Well, obviously Hathaway and Wilson make an awesome duo, and we're all looking forward to that team up in The Hustle. But there's another team up on its way. It's Fast and Furious presents Shaw and Hobbs. Now, I have to be honest, I preferred the prequel Calvin and Hobbs.
Just gonna let that sit there. Just that's where you want to go with that. Oh, that's fine. Dear listener, he's not got much in his life. He needs this. We're just gonna keep on going with the podcast, despite the fact every inch of my body wants to throw this microphone at him and storm out. But I don't want to be responsible for the death of another old man in my care. Oh boy, I've had some real troubled times. But who hasn't had troubled times? The Fast and Furious franchise. Well, apart from their main guy dying. But okay, but other than the death of one of the leading actors in it, I tell you what I like about this, right? I'll tell you what I like about this. Fast and Furious presents.
Yes.
That made me laugh so hard. I really like it, because it's like Quentin Tarantino would find a cool Japanese film, Quentin Tarantino presents.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, this has been curated. There is an author who's curated this. This is curated by what? Those fine fellows at the Fast and Furious Institute? Fast and Furious presents. Honestly, that alone has kind of, I'm not gonna lie, almost made me go I think I'm in. I think I'm in. So it's Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, which actually just sounds like a small legal firm, if anything. Hobbs and Shaw.
Yep.
I've seen Fast 5 and a couple of the ones before that.
Yep.
So The Rock comes in about 3 or 4. 4? I think he comes in at 4.
Does he come in at 4?
Maybe 3, but I think it's 4, right? Or no, wait, it might be 3.
We have the first one, the second one, Too Fast, Too Furious. Then they go to Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, no, it's 4. It's 4.
So The Rock comes in at 4. Okay.
Yeah, shit, maybe he comes in at 5. And then does Steve not come in at the end of 6? Or 7? I don't know. Right.
Well, because they have retconned part of the continuity to make it seem like Tokyo Drift happens in the future.
I don't think that is a retcon.
It is, because they have retconned in that it is Statham, it's Shaw that has killed Han.
I don't know what that means, but no, because they've been talking about before Statham was in them that the films like 4 and 5 were prequels to Tokyo Drift. So that's been happening for a while. The whole who shoots Han first, I don't know about. But certainly if it's been a retcon, it's been a retcon from before the Statham era. The Statham era of the Fast and Furious franchise. The point is, they've obviously just went, come on lads, we've got The Rock and the Stath. That's your spin-off right there. And frankly, that's kind of all I need to hear. If anything, it'd probably be better if I hadn't watched this trailer. Like, if they just went, let's see a film with The Rock and Jason Statham, I'd be like, yeah.
Do you want to see an odd couple buddy team up between The Rock and the Stath, where they come up against the next step in human evolution, and it's Idris Elba playing a character called Brixton.
Codename Brixton. Boy, really fucking lazy with the code names that day, weren't we, lads? Can you think of something better? Just call him Brixton. He's a fucking black guy from London. Yeah, all right. Cheers. Well done, troops.
And it's also directed by David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2.
Also, he did do John Wick. He was one of the co-guys from John Wick. That
another guy right, yes, they co-directed the first one, didn't they? Yeah, that's right.
I mean, don't be wrong, there's bits of it looked like it could be quite cool and fun. I will probably give this a watch because it's got the Stath, it's got The Rock, who's fucking cool. I mean, we've enjoyed The Rock. We enjoyed what he's got cooking. Box office success mostly. Idris Elba's always good and stuff, and it's directed by one of the guys that did John Wick. I'm not entirely convinced by the trailer. I think I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it. It's just a bit much. Do you know what I mean? It just seems like a bit much. But
I have real trouble working out how this unstoppable franchise, which began about illegal street racers, has now become effectively an Avengers movie. This genuinely looks like it's a sort of superhero movie.
Yeah, they basically do go like, what the kids like? Superheroes? All right, we'll make the bad guy have superpowers. Cool.
But what's interesting and what I really hope for it is that...
Was one of them in the Broadway production of Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw? The original theatre production.
No,
he's reading the playbill.
Because Vincent Diesel and Dwayne The Rock Johnson have had a falling out, very public falling out. It doesn't seem that...
Was there a coma involved?
It doesn't seem that they will both appear in the next Fast and Furious Presents Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have 2 spin-offs, and I really want this one to be a giant hit, and I want the Vin Diesel one to tank, because I want...
Why do you want Vin Diesel to suffer?
Because he seems to think that he is the reason that the Fast and Furious franchise exists.
Of course he is, because he's the big star. They got the guy from Chronicles of Riddick. Of course he's a fucking franchise king. You know who agrees with me? Billionaire Christian Grey has a Chronicles of Riddick poster in his bedroom. The one thing that this trailer was missing was lots of speeches about family. So, which is the true meaning of the Fast and Furious franchise. So yeah, I'm a soft in, which by the way isn't the first time I've said that. And you, Alan?
Yeah, this just looks daft enough that I'm intrigued to see what happens with these 2 lunatics.
What's next?
We focus on a film about criminals. We've looked at a film of guys who are meant to be on the side of the law.
I hear they're 2 best trackers in the world. Hobbs and Shaw. Also, by the way, they have to go outside the system this time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, you are getting me. But yes, this has been very much a crime-themed trailer talk.
So let's return to the wrong side of the law and have a look at The Kid.
To live outside the law, you must be honest. The Kid. First of all.
Yes.
So is this really a remake? It's a story that's been told.
It's a story that's been told before, yeah. Various films called Billy the Kid, but first in 1911, The Left-Handed Gun, Billy the Kid versus Dracula, Requiem for Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, I Shot Billy the Kid, The Law versus Billy the Kid, Gore Vidal's Billy the Kid, Dirty Little Billy, The Outlaw, Billy the Kid Returns, Young Guns 2. There's been a lot of Billy the Kid films.
But is this an official remake? I don't think it is a remake of the film. I think what you've done here is you've fucking destroyed this entire facade that we've built here. Alan, why do you not care about our listeners? That's the real question I want you to answer. With this nonsense, spit in our listeners' faces, shove their grannies off buses, call them all cunts. Alan, why do you hate The Listener?
Vincent D'Onofrio has directed this film.
I'm back in. That's great. Fair enough. I love Vinny D. I also hope he directs in his Daredevil Kingpin voice.
Oh. Well,
Be more emotive! My Vanessa! Please, can you do that again? The lighting was not quite right. That was Vincent D'Onofrio just popped in there. But yeah, so this is directed by Vincent D'Onofrio, so I'm up for that. Ethan Hawke trying to prove me wrong, and he can only look like he's a guy from the 90s.
Yeah,
and actually, he
can't grow a beard.
He looked pretty cool, but yes, the facial hair needs work. And it's also got fucking the boy from that space movie with that lassie with the eyebrows that I quite enjoyed, but had a title that was so fucking long. The City of 1,000 fucking cities, the space of 1,000 ships. What was it called?
Valerian.
Yeah, Valerian and the City of 1,000 ships, spaces, cities. What was it? The Incredible 1,000 Lost Cities in Gold. Valerian and the Last Crusade.
Yeah, all of those. Yes, his name is Dane DeHaan.
Brilliant. What's that film called?
Valerian and the Planet of 1,000 Cities.
No,
I
don't think that is it, but it's close. It's
Planet of 1,000
So listen, if you know what that film's called, please email us at thevanishingpod@gmail.com. Dane DeHaan. And Chris Pratt.
Ethan Hawke is struggling to grow a beard, and it looks like they've glued the worst fake one on Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
So obviously Ethan Hawke, D'Onofrio and Chris Pratt reteaming. They were previously in Anton Fuqua's remake of Magnificent Seven.
This looks like it might be quite good. Just because I quite like old-timey westerns. I find it hard to judge because it's all like good actors doing something that could either be like, oh, that was really cool, or it could just be like, oh, look, it's an actor directing an actor, so there's loads of acting happening.
Right.
And inverted commas. But I'm very much, I'm going to see how the reviews come out.
Yeah, it sort of looks like it's positioning Billy the Kid as the good guy, but what's interesting, I guess, is that Chris Pratt here looks like he's the bad guy. You know, that's something that we're not particularly familiar with him doing.
Well, he was a dick in the first season of Parks and Rec, but yeah, okay. But even then, he wasn't meant to be the bad guy. Good cast, and I hope, just because I like Vinny D, who will be sorely underused in our next film we talk about, in our next franchise episode. I hope it goes well. I hope it is good, but I'm not sure. You want to talk about another one more for the road?
Yeah, let's. Similarly to The Kid, we have a film that is retelling a story, but not an
actual remake.
Yeah.
Once again, I apologise, dear
spiritual successor.
Don't fucking fudge it, you lying prick.
Sidequel.
Don't say sidequel. You know that's not a real thing, and I will not. This will not stand. This is not one of your little fancy salon chats with your other fucking weird film pals. This is real talk with Chris and Alan. So we're renaming this show. Bill Maher can suck my balls. We're gonna get real talk here. Sidequel. Fuck up. So this is called The Highwaymen, which is obviously about Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, and then Waylon Jennings as well. Listen, country music's great. I wanted to do a sidequel podcast about country music. You fucking piece of shit. Okay, so it's about the old-time cops who get pulled out of, I guess, semi-retirement to hunt down Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Is this like a revisionist Bonnie and Clyde film, which is revisioning the revisionist style Bonnie and Clyde film that we already got in the 60s from Arthur Penn?
Yeah.
So that was like a revisionist crime film, and now this is a revisionist crime film where it's saying like Bonnie and Clyde weren't heroes, they were dicks, that we should look to old-timey cops. And this is what I love about this, man, right? It's got Woody Harrelson basically going, remember how good I was in True Detective?
Yep.
Like, you should give me more roles like that. And they've exactly done that. Like, he is just like another kind of girls detective, except it's in the 40s or whatever the fuck Bonnie and Clyde was.
Yeah.
It's all old-timey time. It's all the same. Anything before 1995 is just old-timey times. There's no mobile phones. They all had mustaches and wore hats, because that was very historically accurate. So this has got two main characters in Highwaymen, Woody Harrelson and Kevin Costner, who you may remember from the smash hit Waterworld.
I love Waterworld. It's great. It's Mad Max on the water. What more do you want?
Smoke on the water.
And I've also seen the Waterworld live show at Universal in LA.
Honestly, I thought for a minute he was going to say Broadway, and I was like, fuck up.
It's like a stunt show on a big swimming pool.
Oh, that's cool.
Like things blowing up, jet ski jumps. It was totally brilliant.
I believe there's also going to be flames, jet ski jumps in this Netflix original, The Highwaymen.
As an aside, we've just talked about The Kid, and obviously one of the many Billy the Kid films was Billy Kid versus Dracula. There was also a film in 2008 called Bonnie and Clyde versus Dracula.
That sounds great. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, The Highwaymen looks like it might be quite good. Again, if the reviews are good, I'll probably watch that. But if you were to say to me, there is a film on Netflix right now called Bonnie and Clyde versus Dracula, that's going on when I get home tonight.
I really like the look of this film. You know, these are men out of time, Texas Rangers, who obviously have been brought back to track down Bonnie and Clyde. So they're already, like, in old-timey times, they're already out of time.
Out of old-timey times.
Because they're like, they're chasing down this new kind of criminal.
I'm a legendary man of the West End of Glasgow.
Out of time.
I am a man out of time. I feel that, Alan, every day. Man without a country. You know what? There's no country for middle-aged Glaswegians.
So anyway, the screenwriter John Fusco has been trying to get this project off the ground for a while. In 2005, he almost had Paul Newman and Robert Redford in the Costner and Harrison roles. Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. I didn't know this was the movie team-up I've been waiting for. Their interplay together in this trailer.
It was great.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It does look
good. Of the trailers, this is the one that I was most excited for. And it also shows the way sort of movie production is going at Netflix.
As we discussed, Roma, that's a Netflix like original kind of thing, isn't it? I mean, it obviously it has to have some at least limited cinematic release to be eligible for the Oscars. So again, it's them making prestige films, which are all films about magic. You know, like the Prestige.
For good or for bad, it's changing how we're consuming movies. Not everybody loves it. Their interface is a fucking nightmare. But if you're going to give me movies like The Highwaymen ahead of seeing it, I'm excited by it.
Beautiful. So we're out for the hustle. Kind of surprisingly in for the Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
I mean, I guess.
We don't make the rules, guys. The kids were kind of I'm a maybe.
Yeah,
we're both a maybe.
The same, yeah.
And The Highwaymen, I think, we're both in for.
Yeah.
Because it will be just like Bonnie and Clyde. Guys, that was Trailer Talk.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, Alan, at this point in the show, we will talk recommendations.
Yeah.
What do you recommend to these poor saps that listen to us for guidance, both moral and cinematic and in other forms of media? These people need somebody like you, Alan, to tell them what to watch. What are the odds it's going to be some shitty horror film? Let's go.
I'm so glad I've picked what I picked then. I've had a pretty rough time recently, and so I needed just a bit of
Keep it light.
I've had just a little salve for the soul, and there's a documentary that I keep returning to from 2013, directed by Teller of Penn and Teller fame, and it's called Tim's Vermeer, and it's the story of Tim Jemison, who is he's an inventor, and he gets interested in optics, and he tries to recreate using mechanical devices the techniques of the Dutch master Vermeer.
Oh, okay. So it's called the what?
It's called Tim's Vermeer because
he's trying to
Tim Jemison is redoing them.
Now that sounds like a remake, which should be in the fucking show. You see what I mean, Alan? It's very easy to fucking delineate what's a remake and what's not. Oh, is it not like a side painting?
It's a spiritual successor.
Spiritually success my boot up your arse. Cool. Anything else?
No. If you want a horror film recommendation, I would recommend It Comes at Night.
Okay. I'm sure. For me, I would like to actually go outside of the film realm for just a second, and I'd like to recommend a play I saw called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. There was a wonderful young actor in it, and I hope that one day I get to see him in a film. I think he'd probably have a facility for comedy, but I guess at this point I'll never know. So that's my recommendations, guys. We are back. Our next episode. I can't wait for this one, because if there's anything that says excitement to me, it's late period Bruce Willis performances. Alan, what are we going to see next time?
We have a Death Wish, Chris.
That's right, the 2018 Death Wish remake by Hostel Helmer, Eli Roth. What do we think about it? You could probably guess, but it'll be fun anyway. We'll see you next time. Bye! Here's the thing, for you little men's rights weirdos. Having sex with women who are, actually into it is fucking great. Once you actually get your hole, you suddenly realise that, maybe you're the fucking asshole. Probably because you're all in your mum's basements. Not having sex with real life women. Fuck those men's rights, guys. Hi, it's me, Chris, the sexier half of Diminishing Returns podcast. I have 2 shows at the Glasgow International Comedy Festival 2019. If you're listening to this in the future after March of 2019, too late. But if you're listening to this near the time of release, I have 2 shows at the Glasgow International Comedy Festival. The first one, I'm part of a showcase of Scottish stand-up called 3 Men and a Tall Lady at the Iron Horse Pub on the 23rd of March at 4:30. It's a Saturday, so that has me, who you know is hilarious, and a bunch of other cool stand-ups, including finalist in the Scottish Comedian of the Year competition. 3 Men and a Tall Lady is a show that we've done for previous festivals. It always sells out, so if you do want to come, get your ticket from the Glasgow International Comedy Festival website. The other show that I'm doing is with my improv group, Improv Killed My Dog. We're doing a show called Magnum PI. This is one of the dumbest things we've ever done. We did it at the Fringe last year. It was really good fun, so we're basically doing an improvised episode of a show that I have never seen, Magnum PI, and that is on Friday the 29th of March at 7:15. Tickets for both shows are available from the Glasgow International Comedy Festival website, so just Google Glasgow Comedy Festival, and that's 3 Men and a Tall Lady, which is a stand-up show, and Magnum PI, which is an improv show. Bye.